Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala and this is my little nook in this end of the universe that we call YouTube. I am a shamanic practitioner, mainly within Nordic shamanism. And today I'm here to talk a little bit about Skadi, one of the Nordic goddesses that I celebrate. And I celebrate her on the winter solstice. So in this video I'm going to talk about who she is to me, and how I celebrate the winter solstice. Among other things, I celebrate it by celebrating Skadi. So, who is Skadi? Skadi is the goddess of hunting and of wildlife. She is often seen on a pair of skis, and she is the daughter of a giant that is called Chache, and she once married the Vanir of Njord, but they had to go separate ways because she and him had different home environments that they like to be in. I cannot see Skadi, the goddess of winter, of snow and ice, the queen of the underworld of Niflheim. I cannot see her in the water with Njord, because Njord is a water god, so I cannot see them finding a place that they both can call home, because God is so much ice and snow and cold that Njord would freeze if he went to her, and she would drown, I think, if she went to him, because she's not one of Ran's daughters. So I really like Skadi. So Skadi is as I said, she is the queen or the goddess of the underworld called Niflheim. And in Niflheim there is nothing but ice and snow and clarity. So Skadi is the goddess of this underworld, and she is a giant, and she is a daughter of a giant. And she reigns over the ice giants in Niflheim. And in Niflheim we find our fears, our phobias, and we go into the underworld with Skadi to face our fears, to find clarity where we have before had anxiety and confusion and frustration and anger. So walking with Skadi is about facing your fears. It's about aiming for clarity. She's the hunting goddess, and she uses a bow and arrow, and with that bow and arrow we can aim for whatever we want to achieve. So she can help us doing that. So walking with Skadi means aiming for and setting our goals and intentions and really working towards those, but also relying a little bit on trusting the universe and trusting ourselves and our abilities to accomplish what we set out to accomplish. And also that some things needs to happen below the surface of the ice. So I have talked in a previous video about Niflheim, so I won't go too deep into that today. But the medicine of Skadi is the medicine of ice, and a part of the medicine of ice is to trust that whatever happens below the surface is for your highest good, and to support you in your endeavors and your ambitions and your intentions to manifest. So I really, as I have said several times now, I really enjoy her, and I think she has helped me a lot throughout my life, because I am one of those people that really go into things to solve them. I go in and I dig for whatever the cause of something is, wherever it lies or whenever it was or anything. And I dig and I dig and I dig. And I also I don't want to say that I like facing my fears, because I don't think anyone likes facing their fears, but I enjoy what comes after. I enjoy the the healing aspect of facing your fears, and also letting out your anger, to really allow yourself to get angry and to kind of alchemize the anxiety and the fear into anger, because there's so much heavy energy in anxiety and fear that we can use for other things. And one of the steps that we need to take together with Skadi is to allow ourselves to feel, so that the ice inside of us, that is a symbol for this, these feelings of anxiety and fear, and that is, I would say, something that holds our phobias captive. We need to melt those. We need to face them. We need to see them with clarity, and we need to melt them. So when we work with ice and Skadi, there's most often also the element of fire involved to melt the ice. And when we melt the ice, we need to allow ourselves to feel. So in the medicine of ice, with the medicine of ice comes the medicine of fire and water, to allow ourselves to feel our emotions and to let them out, especially emotions like anger and sorrow, and like these heavy emotions that really builds up inside of us, inside of our heart, that hinder us to move forward, and often stands in the way of us loving ourselves, and maybe also loving other people or receiving love from other people. So walking with Skadi is really amazing. It brings so much clarity, and yeah, so I invite Skadi to walk with me as I celebrate her every winter solstice. So for the winter solstice, I hold the goddess ceremonies, and I am going to start hosting goddess ceremonies for the Nordic goddesses, with this ceremony as the first one. So if you find this interesting, then you can go to my Patreon, where you from the 1st of December can purchase a spot on my first Nordic goddess ceremony in English. I have been celebrating Skadi in goddess ceremonies for I think 3 years now, but in Swedish, and this will be my first in English. So I hope I will see you there. So when I celebrate Skadi, as I said, I invite her to work with me and walk with me. So these goddess ceremonies, let's start in that end of it all. They look like this. We meet on Zoom, and I open a sacred space, and then we talk about, or I talk about Skadi, I talk about what she means to me, and I let anyone else in the space, in the circle, talk a little bit about their relationship to Skadi, if they have any. So we go around the circle, and people can tell the other ones why they're there, and what they know of Skadi, and how they feel about walking with her. Because with this ceremony, we all start walking with Skadi for one moon cycle. So from the winter solstice to the same date, a moon cycle later. So this year, the goddess ceremony in English will be on the 22nd of December, so the day after the winter solstice. And that means we will walk with Skadi until around the 20th or 21st of January. And that is amazing, because that gives us like a week or a week and a half, I think, before we invite the next goddess to walk with us, which is Saga, which is the goddess of storytelling. So when I've opened the sacred space and we have talked a little bit about Skadi and our relationship with her, we go into meditation, and in this meditative state we meet Skadi on our turf. So I always think that the best place to meet goddesses when we start walking with them, start getting to know them, is not to go to their realms. That is a later project. That is a later endeavor. When we first get to know these Nordic goddesses or any goddesses, it's best to invite them to where we are, so that we can ask them to stay or ask them to go when we are ready, and so that we can walk with them where we are. So that's what we are going to do. We're gonna meet Skadi where we are, which happens in a meditation that I guide during this ceremony. So the meditation most often looks like this, that we go into the middle world behind the veils and meet Skadi there. So then we follow Skadi and we follow the guidance that comes. So for this ceremony, what you need to bring is you need to bring something to write on. You need to bring something to write with that is not your phone or your computer. You need a pen and paper for this, and so that you can write down what you experience and whatever guidance you get during the meditation. And after the meditation, you get some time to write down anything that you want to write down. Most often I give everyone 10 minutes or so, and when everyone feels ready to share, if they want to share, but when they feel ready that they have written down anything they need to write down, they put their hands on their heart so that I can see that everyone is ready to proceed. And and then we have a sharing circle for a moment or two, and everyone shares as much or as little as they want to before we close the sacred space. And everyone that joins the ceremony will be able to watch the replay of the ceremony afterwards if there's something they would like to write down again or anything like that. But I always pause the recording with the sharing, so that no one can replay the sharing bit. That is very personal, and it's up to each and every one how much or little that we share in the circle. So then we close the sacred space and we go about our lives. And for me, it's evening when I hold this ceremony. So it's on the Monday of the 22nd of December at 7 p.m. Central European time. So I don't know what that is where you are, but you are very welcome to join. And as I said, you can purchase a spot via my Patreon from the 1st of December. So, how do I celebrate the winter solstice apart from the Skadi bit? So, celebrating Skadi and walking with Skadi is a really big part of my celebration. And so, when I celebrate the winter solstice, I do this at least one time. And this year I'm going to host two Skadi ceremonies, one in Swedish and one in English. So those will be my times with her. And for the actual winter solstice that happens on the weekend, I think it happens on the 21st of December in Sweden, I will do several things, but one of the things that I do is I do a yearly rune spread for myself, and that gives me an overview of the year to come, and then I use that yearly rune spread to plan the year ahead. So the things that I know will happen or that I know that I want to achieve, I will put into my calendar according to the guidance with the rune spread. And one thing that I always look at is the full moons, whatever guidance I have gotten around the full moons. So I also draw a rune of the year, or my rune of the year, because there's a difference between the rune of the year and my rune of the year, or your rune of the year. So mine or your rune of the year we can draw, and we can ask the runes for guidance for that year through that rune. And then the rune of the year is connected to runic number magic. So what the year for what the number for the year 2026 is, and what rune corresponds with that number. So the rune for next year will be Ist or Insus, and I will share a video about that at the end of December. I will share a video about the rune of the year in late December, so that you can know all about it going into next year. Just before I share the rune of the month for January. So I use this yearly rune spread for myself, and I look at how that looks. But I also thank and let go of the year that is behind me. So I look at the year behind me, I look at my spread from last year, I look at the rune of the year from my rune of the year from last year, and I have a ritual around that as well. So actually I start with that part, and then I go into making a new spread and drawing a new rune of the year, and then I make a mind map around that. So I make a mind map with the rune of the year in the middle, and then I write down everything that I want to work on, or anything that I want to draw in to my life next year, that I want more of. And it can be anything between heaven and earth. It can be money, it can be friendship, it can be love, it can be magic, it can be if I want to accomplish something specific, I put it on there, so that I can see that every time I look at that spread. And then I put that spread at the beginning of my bullet journal. And I also, of course, have everything written down in my magical journal for the winter solstice. So I think those are the main things that I do, and then it depends on who I celebrate with, where I celebrate, and you know, whatever the holidays look like. But my emphasis that time of year is on the winter solstice of Yule, and not Christmas and Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So I do most of my celebrating the weekend. This year is the weekend before Christmas. So yeah, that means that this year I will host a goddess ceremony in Swedish, and then it's the winter solstice, and I will do everything that I want to do for that. And then there is a goddess ceremony in English the Monday after. So I'm gonna have I want to say a hell of a weekend, but it's not hell, it's Skadi. So not this time. That weekend has already been for this year. But you will be able to join me for that ceremony as well next October. So keep a lookout for my goddess ceremony, my Nordic goddess ceremonies in English for the upcoming year, starting with Skadi at winter solstice, and I will see you soon. And before I end this video, I just want to take some time to thank all of my Patreons. Thank you for your support. All of my Patreons on the free member tier, of the curious tier, and all of you that wants to join me on my apprentice tier for next year, where we will be walking with the runes together all year. So I hope to see you there as well. I don't have an intention to ever have the names of my patrons on at the end of my videos, because I know that spirituality and witchcraft and shamanism can be something that you want to do behind closed doors, which is one of the reasons that I started my Patreon. So I will give a general thanks to all my patrons that are watching this. Thank you for everything, and I will see you there. So yeah, walk in beauty until we meet again. Xingling.